Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm Duffy Duck here. We are back for the Maxi Toys, and welcome back to my last play of Toy Story 3 for the Xbox 360, PS3, Nintendo Wii, and PC version. So last time we actually did manage to tackle through Prison Break, and also I think we actually did Bonnie's house first, and then Prison Break, so we actually escaped the likes of the witch's clutches, and also we managed to rescue one of Woody's friends from, don't get alarmed by it. And today for this episode, we're about to be moving on into the next level, which was the Junkyard. And just like the ones in the movie, in case if you probably know the spoilers at the end, though, by the way, even though we have to warn you not to watch it for this particular part, or in this case, not to listen for this part, is that what happens was, though, however, is the fact that whenever they think the baby doll did actually manage to beat the likes out of Lotso and then just trying to chuck him into the dustbin. And then what happens was is that if any single Woody's or in this case the other Andy's toys and stuff, including the likes of Woody, Buzz, and Jesse, they would think they're trying to make a escape out of the Sunnyside daycare. But unfortunately, due to the fact that Lotso's arms is catching Woody off guard, and then somehow we ended up in the junkyard. So this is predictably one of the most terrifying scenes in the actual film, because all that happens was is that in although this is another spoiler speech, so even then though, if you guys haven't watched the film already, so that's how this goes. So basically that well, you know that if Lotso think he was trying to push the button to actually stop the junkyard machines going, but he completely ignored it on purpose, and he's trying to threatening everyone else. And I was like, you really psychopath. Anyway though, so even then though, that's probably how this goes. So yeah, this first section of this particular level right there is that we have to actually just to keep an eye on these three aliens, so that you can actually just to protect them, where you can either grab them and then trying to hold that at all times. However, if you let one of them, not all of them mind you, just one of the aliens mind you, if one of these aliens can get into this little shredder, this means you have to do the whole sequence again. In case if you couldn't already tell already, this is actually a second attempt for this recording session, because we attempted trying to do this on the first attempt for this recording session. What happens was though, however, is the fact that we actually got a lot of confusion in this level though. But even then, we'll discuss more to that as soon as we actually get into it. But basically, the first section all you have to do is not too bad. So it can take a bit while to practice with all that stuff, because basically, after when the door is opening with the, the yellow and black stripes strapped in there, and then basically you're gonna have to chuck these three aliens onto that specific door outway. So yeah, that's all you're literally trying to do for that segment. So, and also judging by the fact that how taking a note from after when you chuck these three aliens into the the door itself, and then basically taking a note from very similar to how it does in Pushy Penguins in Mario Party 5 minigame. You actually not to get to shoved into the trash boxes. In fact, trash boxes do look kind of feels a bit similar to how it does it from the Wally reference, which again another Wally reference in this game. But even though I don't know how I don't know when this game came out before the movie came out. Although we're pretty sure enough that we'll find this out as soon as we actually finish this level though first. But I digress though, so. But anyways though, since we actually managed to chuck the although much like how it does it on Sunnyside Daycare, is now we can actually take control of these three characters once again. So even though that it has been a while since we actually been playing as Buzz Lightyear since Sunnyside Daycare, because in the Prison Break you can't actually play as him because he's in lots of sides, so yeah, that's all there is to know. And here's the biggest claw ever, if you can see on the right. That is actually an incinerator scene, which is what everyone seemed to actually got really upset about, or even for I was a little bit anxious and nervous about that actually, because they think they're trying to die, but it's probably the most terrifying thing I've actually noticed. But anyway though, so basically, after when you actually, just to avoid the, the trash cubes from the first section of the level, then you're about to be moving on into the next section where you're gonna have to deal, like, sometimes platforming and also puzzle solving. So, sort of like a mismatch between the platforming segments from, the previous levels ago, and then sometimes you have to do a lot of puzzle solving too. Like, you have to deal with the correct spawning puzzles that you're gonna have to solve very, very fast and quickly. And as a result, though, however, you're gonna have to, like, most of the time carry this trash box over there. And in fact, the only reason for this we'll have here is the fact that we need to actually completely destroy those fans, so that we can actually let Woody go bypass. Because yes, there's gonna be a lot of emphasis on switching character system, because usually speaking of such, after when you do one section and you can move on to the next section and then just switch between characters as possible. So yeah, that's how this goes. But conveniently enough though, weirdly enough though, however, there's no Lotso around here, although, unlike it does in the movie though, however, it does have Lotso on there, so even then though such though, even then, so to speak though, Sonic, that Toy Story 3 was now 6 years old at that time, so even then as such, happy 6th year anniversary, Toy Story 3. But even then, that film was still a huge success, but yeah, that's all there is to know. Alright, so this point here is the fact that we need to actually just to guide, or in this case, just shove the trash cubes into one of those, instant death crushers, so that much like it does it from, some other levels in, during the Buzz video game, is that, if you get crushed onto these little contraptions over there, because they're rock solid, and this means that you have to restart for the segment again. So basically what you have to do for this particular sequence of this, the entire section of this level, is that basically we need to take down those three contraptions. The first one, which was the flamethrowers, the second one is the crushing fists or something, and then the final one which we have to do is the final shredder, which very similar to how it does it from the movie though, however, that although unlike in the movie version, however, is the fact that you don't actually deal with the magnet objects and stuff. So even then though, that's all there is to know. Oh god, I got knocked back by the flamethrower. Although strangely enough though, we don't actually have a health bar or anything like that on similar to how it does in Prison Break. I believe so. But when we go to the next level, assuming the final level after this is that I'm assuming we're gonna get to actually used to with the health bar system. So basically, that's all we can notice there. So yeah, you get the idea with trash, or in this case, a junkyard, if this level actually worked out. It's basically, sometimes it's gonna be more platform heavy, and also some bit of puzzle solving for that as well. So yeah. And by the way, for those of you probably wondering about the first section that we've already done, be sure you actually, I highly recommend you, if you can saw for the footage of it earlier ago, that basically I highly suggest you sometimes jump slightly and then just trying to move your analog stick at certain points. However, if you use your charge ability, in this case you press the Y button or the triangle button in the PS3 version accordingly. Now I don't know about the Wii version, I'm pretty sure it's shake the Wii mode. It's the fact that you don't want to accidentally use the charge attack on purpose onto the trash boxes, so that you will instantly get death onto the shredder sequence, and then if you get crushed onto the the shredder machine, then you have to restart the whole first section again. So yeah. So I think the main basic prime example of how we actually got stuck into the first attempt for this recording session is this particular sequence that we have no idea what we're gonna do. But basically what we have to do here is the fact that we need to actually toss one of these trash boxes on with Jesse. And basically we need to actually go ahead and switch to Jesse for a moment and just trying to chuck the trash box where Buzz usually threw it recently. And basically we're gonna have to make our way to the far right of this particular shredded machine. And basically you're gonna have to do it like few old times and all that. And I'm presuming you're gonna have to do it like, it's more likely a 3 characters combination of kinds of moves and stuff. So even then though as such, oh you gotta be kidding me, my angle was a bit off. But anyway, so sometimes it's more likely time-based from the likes of how it does it from this particular final sequence of this level. Even though as such though, however, that I'm pretty sure that's what we can notice. Anyway, so let's go ahead and try this little puzzle solving again. So let's do Woody. No, Jesse second. And now we can actually use Buzz to chuck this trash box over here. And then once you deal with that particular throwing adjustments, then the level's already completed. So yeah, that's all there is to know with this level's gimmick-wise. So yeah, not too bad. So anyway, it can be quite confusing sometimes if you're actually first time playing your game. But apart from that though, it's a pretty nice looking level though. For usually speaking of such though, that it's almost perfectly matched into the actual movie. But we got ourselves the final level in the game, which was Haunted Bakery. What's that very familiar name though exactly? However though, I don't think this particular event doesn't usually happen in the movie, because usually speaking of such though, we ended up in the darker version of Woody's Roundup apparently. Yeah, but before we actually get into that level actually, we got ourselves yet another cutscene to watch.
Ourselves and got back home safe and sound.
Then Andy entrusted us to Bonnie, which is how we got here. Any questions?
Yeah. What about Bonnie's story of the haunted bakery?
Yeah, you left out one of the best parts.
You didn't tell us about the haunted bakery? Haunted bakery? I want to hear. Me too.
Go ahead and tell him, Ham.
Okay, settle down. So, what happened is that a quaint little bakery got built right on top of a graveyard. Disgruntled phantoms possess the baked goods. Imagine a land where food eats people.
Food eats people?
He's on a roll.
It was a full moon and the muffins were getting restless. They had already eaten all the townsfolk, but were still hungry for more.
Alrighty then, here we are folks, the final level in Toy Story 3, the video game, the same likes of how it does in the PS3 version, Nintendo Wii and PC version, however the PSP and PS2 version, and even Nintendo DS counterpart do have different amounts of final levels that actually could be called it from. Actually, speaking of note, Duffy, according to what in the Wikipedia and stuff like that, I think the video game version, at least in North America anyway, came out before the actual film came out, when the video game version of Toy Story 3 came out in June the 15th in North America, and then we only got, like, they only got 3 days before the actual film came out back in 2010. Now, I'm pretty sure the same goes for the likes of how it does it in the United Kingdom version. Like, I'm assuming that particular film came out, at least in UK version of the entire video game of Toy Story 3. I think it came out in, presumably more accurately though, I think it was roughly at the 16th of July, which was, I believe, sort of speaking for that, I think it came out more likely 3 days before the actual film came out in UK. But even then though, such though, that yeah, this is more likely to Delta for anyway. So this is how we're going to be doing with this level though, is that much like in Buzz video game, is that we're going to take control of Buzz Lightyear the whole time, rather than Woody or Jesse, because this is the final level that we can only use in as Buzz Lightyear, just like it does in Toy Story 2, the video game. I don't know why they can't be bothered to actually let Jesse can deal the final level as opposed to Woody already done it from Toy Story 1, and then Buzz surely done it for Toy Story 2. But I don't know why Jesse was not included though. So anyways though, you're gonna have yourselves a... Is that evil Dr. Porkchop on top of that haunted cake? Okay, that's a bit odd. But anyway though, so here's the final boss in Toy Story 3, the video game counterpart, and that was the honor goes to the witch Dolly. So basically, that she has 2 different segments. One, she actually summons her duplicates of her, and basically, presumably, in order to actually deal the damage of her, which she only has like roughly 5 pieces of health. It kind of reminds me of something almost related to a Sonic the Hedgehog boss gauges, or more accurately, the Kingdom Hearts health system for the bosses and stuff. But basically, you do have 2 different two different gun control types. There is the normal ball launcher, in this case the ammo launcher, and also there's also a cow launcher, which you're about to see in just a moment. But you think if you actually almost run out of ammo, well luckily for you, you can actually re-grab these ammos to begin with, so even then though, it will be really handy if you're actually trying to, you know, deal with some of this stuff. So here's the cow launcher right here, and then I believe the cow launcher can only do for this effective. It was actually in this sequence there. And basically, every time when you're actually trying to launch the cows at her, that's how you're supposed to deal the damage of her. So yeah, that's all there is to know. Luckily though, there's also some health supplies. Even then, if you're having trouble with this particular battle, then be sure you need to quickly fetch the health supplies as possible. Because if you ended up dying, you have to redo the first segment again for this particular battle. So yeah, I was gonna have to warn you for that. So okay. Oh god, that's not that good. Strangely enough though. Oh god darn it. That catch me off guard at that point. And then guess what though, we have to restart for the whole sequence again, so that's no good. We'll be right back in a moment. Okay, we're back, and we managed to actually beat the likes of the, you know, the witch dolly from earlier on, but even then though, such though, that she only has like, usually speaking of such though, that we only have like few hits left on her, so even then though, that, I believe if you actually be using, the only differences between those two weapons if you probably can use, which was this little particular gun machine over there, and then the cow launchers, I believe if you actually be using the cow launcher, you'll actually use a lot of ammo. So yeah, that's all the only noticeable difference between one of those two weapons. So anyways though, this particular battle is not that much of a threat. Sometimes it can be really tricky sometimes, even there's too many muffin enemies on screen, and then sometimes though that they're just trying to outright against with you, which sometimes that's more likely a situational stuff that it usually becomes. But anyways though, so but even then though, you do have a the built-in mini gun with you, so that you can actually take care of these enemies just for that. And in and of such though, that it should be a handy feature, so that's all there is to know. And be sure we don't want to get ourselves a knockback all over again, because if we get knocked back over to the bottomless pit, then we ended up going out to redo the whole fight again, don't we? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what this is going. However, you can only carry like 4 ammo at a time, so even then 400 is a bit enough. But then if you actually try to either use the cow launcher or the other gun which we're about to be using until after this sequence is over, then that way you can actually... Oh my god. Is that enemy just trying to block my vision? I think he's trying to enjoy this little shooting contest or something like that. I'm more likely to think about it like, excuse me, can you do you mind please? Because I think we need just gonna have to focus on... You know what? I'm just gonna kill you for that, because you just ruined my vision to actually just to see the canyon's shooting mechanic. But anyway though. So if you manage to run out of the ammo, then you can actually re-grab the ammo again. Luckily though, they respawn every time when you actually grab them. And then yeah, that's all there is to know. So yeah, because of this though, that differently from the film version, that the entire villain of Toy Story 3 as a film, that was easily not so hugging there. Because if you actually probably noticed the spoiler warning at the end, then even then though, that, you know. But instead of that though, the entire villain of the video game advertising for Toy Story 3 is definitely the witch from, well, obviously the reskinned version of Dolly, I'm presuming, which I'm presuming that's what this is going. So anyway, and after that though, however, you do have 2 different choices for the final hit and then stuff like that, even for the last bit of health of Dolly Witch, is that you can either go for this particular gun machine, or you can either go to the cow launcher. The highly recommended is this gun machine for those duplicates of these witch clones, and then the other one, which was the cow launcher for the bigger variation of the Dolly Witch. So yeah, that's all there is to know. I believe we've almost run out of ammo, so I'm presuming we only got about 2 duplicates left, and before we actually just trying to deal with, you know, the bigger variation of the witch herself. So, and after when you run out of ammo though, then basically it just tells you the hints again, and then boss will say like, oh, we run out of ammo, so we need to fetch them. So even then, that, yeah. So I was hoping we could actually get a health pickup at any moment, but even then though, that's not expected if there's going to be a whole lot more projectiles coming up. Even for the most annoying projectiles out of all, it was definitely the green bubbles themselves, because basically the green bubbles will instantly try to knock you back. And I believe the ones who caused all that, I think it was actually the duplicates of those witches right here. But even then, though, luckily though, we actually only got to this point there. So even then though, that this fight wasn't exactly over yet though. But anyways, that's all there is to know with this particular battle. But even then though, so that it's not that long of the fight. But even then though, it's usually quite the trickiest level to actually go through. Because usually sometimes though, that you instantly get KO'd by these bubbles so easily. And sometimes there's way too many projectiles on screen. But even though it's not that bad of a deal though. Because even though after all, since we actually play this game from time to time, we know as such though that we can actually just hopefully try to make it more compensated than it looks. So anyway though, you probably expect that you're probably going to be hearing the loudest sound effects you're going to be hearing for this particular fight. Mainly due to the fact that cow launchers are going to be much more huge as far as I was expecting it to. So anyway, so once you get quite a few hits on her, then the entire battle should be just to be out to be done. So yeah, that's all there is to know. If there's too many oh gosh, we've run out of ammo, aren't we? But luckily though, we are pretty much almost done though, so even then, let's get our health pick up, and then also we might ended up just trying to actually, oh goodness me. Now we're gonna have to get these ammos here, more likely that, if every time when you grab the ammo, it'll add up to 100, so yeah, that's one thing you need to know. There's nothing else to say about this game, basically, because even though this is actually the final video game Toy Story trilogy, because I'm presuming that I don't know if there's going to be bringing up the Toy Story 4 video game advertising until, I don't know when it gets to the point until 2019, I'm assuming, I don't know. But even though we'll just have to find out and just find out and see what happens. We'll talk more on overall about the game so far of this particular version of Toy Story 3. No, we will excluding the other versions of the game. Most likely the PS3 version, but we'll get into that sooner or later. But anyways, let's get this last shot done. And I'm pretty sure the fight is done.
Wow, Bonnie. You have a great imagination.
What the hell? I don't know what's going on with that particular scene. We ended up respawning onto that cutscene over there. And also these muffins were actually there in the first place. Oh, that's so weird. Anyway, so yeah, that was it for the final level in Toy Story 3, the video game. And we managed to transform the witch back into the normal Dolly herself. So yeah, that was it for Toy Story 3, the video game. Now, just considering that even though that Andy was already away to college already, but even then that in the video game version that we immediately in the different environments, because now the other toys are now in the Barney's house basically. So yeah, that's all there is to know. I have no idea why they actually not included Mr. Potato Head in the first place, even Mrs. Potato Head as a result as well. But anyway though. So overall, Toy Story 3, this was actually a great game in my honest opinion though. More specifically, if you I highly recommend you playing this game is well, obviously the HD version, because more likely the Xbox 360 version, PS3, Wii, and PC version, because usually speaking of such though, you do have plenty of things to do in those four particular versions, because they play exactly similar. But except that in the PS3 version actually has the exclusive content, because usually speaking of such though, there's one thing we haven't mentioned this to you throughout the Let's Play, I think, that you can actually play as the fourth playable character in the PlayStation 3 version on Toy Story 3, and that was the form of the evil Emperor Zurg. Well, it's only been playable in a toy box mode rather than all of the levels, because although I could have wished it has that to actually just make the evil Emperor Zurg is trying to beat up the doppelganger of him. I mean, that would be pretty weird and pretty awesome at the same time. But instead it was actually in a toy box exclusive mode. But anyway. And also the Wii version do have some motion controls for a little bit of moments until the moments. But I'm pretty sure the Xbox 360 version plays exactly similar to the PS3 version because of the graphical capabilities. And I'm pretty sure the Wii version does have similar visual standpoints, but a little bit more downgraded. Although sure enough, the visuals in this game look really beautiful, even with the Xbox 360 title, even the PS3 counterpart as well. And also the soundtrack is pretty pleasant to listen to. Even it does have some nostalgic soundtrack from the likes of Toy Story 1, like You Got a Friend in Me has been playing through the title screen, and the world map, and I think that's all there is to know, including a credit sequence as well. But anyway though, so, and also that, it actually plays, the soundtrack from Toy Story 2 from, when Buzz, in the Buzz video game, particular level, that, he actually just gonna go all the way to Zurg's fortress in just in time and stuff. So yeah, that's actually really interesting. So, and I'm pretty sure enough though, I don't think there aren't any soundtracks from Toy Story 3 from the film and from this. Because mainly due to the fact that the video game version of Toy Story 3 came out 3 days before the actual film came out in the United States. So, that makes it more doubtful, right? But anyway. And also the controls on this particular game looks really solid as well. Even for the PlayStation 3 version and the Xbox 360 version, because usually this is the why we actually got ourselves the Xbox 360 version of Toy Story 3. Now, we could originally gonna get it on the Wii, but it's just the fact that I think that the Xbox 360 version is definitely my pick for this particular version because of controller, the achievement system, while PS3 version actually has trophies. So anyways, yeah, the story looks really, very reminiscent to the likes of the Toy Story 3 film, but even then though, the ending is naturally quite different compared to the film version. But even then though, the actual environment of the film, or the game itself, looks very similar to the ones in the film. But there's only one exception, which was actually a nostalgic level, which is actually based off of Toy Story 2 in the beginning. But anyways, so that's all there is to say about this here. So, the only negative thing I can think of about this game, though, is that sometimes the loading times can take a little bit long time to get into the action of the level, and even the other section of the level. But it's not like how it does in Sonic 06, though, because usually in Sonic 06, load times-wise, for the PS3 and the Xbox 360 version can take freaking forever, even for when you're trying to get into action of these levels and stuff. But it's not that bad. Sometimes the charge attack can be quite amusing sometimes if you're actually trying to avoid something like instant death traps and stuff. Mainly, for example, the crushing, spike crushing blocks from the Burst video game level that sometimes if I accidentally bash into the wall, for the love of God, I can't stand that particular things like this. But apart from those side of things, it's not that bad of a game. Pretty great game, actually. But the version you probably should definitely pick it up, and definitely the most definitive version of the game you should definitely have. That's the PS3 version. So anyways, that concludes our Let's Play of Toy Story 3. This is me, Sonic, and Duffy here. And I'll see you guys until the new year, 2017. So anyways, see you guys then. Bye.